and welcome everyone to Tuesday Tidbit Talks. Today we are honored to have Kay Watson with us. And Kay, welcome.
Thank you, Mark. I'm glad to be here with you.
Awesome. Well, we really wanted to have you on board here. I know we sent you home with a mission on our bylaws and some of the things for Metro Brokers, and that's what we really wanted to go over today.
Good.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing, at least that people seemed to bring up to me that people are going to be concerned about, is that we're going to be allowing broker associates, or let's just say people that aren't shareholders, which traditionally shareholders were people that were the office or the managing brokers. All shareholders were managing brokers, and their broker associates were never given any type of voting rights in Metro Brokers.
Right. And I think that's been an issue for years. And to me, what you all have done, and I have to say, I commend the board of directors and the time that you've spent on this, because I think now it's a fair playing field. And I've always felt that associates should have the opportunity. They pay the same dues that we pay, and I think it's very important. So I definitely think that this is a good move, to move toward the right thing.
Great, yeah, and I know just in my office we have, I mean, there's a lot of people I know we could get involved, get them more involved on the board of directors, executive committee. We need newer, younger people. A lot of us, I mean, Tony's been on the board forever. I've been on the board forever. Daryl's been on the board. I mean, it's not like we're trying to get term limits. We just need people to step up and take over.
Right. And I think, in looking at several of the younger Metro brokers that I've worked with, or even in my office, I think there's some great talent there. And now they have an opportunity to step up, be a part, and help us out and get on the board.
Absolutely. And we had to do this in a special, because of the state securities laws and things like that, and shareholders, we had to kind of go to this in a roundabout way.
Right.
So we'll basically have two groups of people. We'll have the constituent group,
which is the associates.
or anybody
that's not a shareholder, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have some office owners and office supervising brokers that are not shareholders.
Right. So they couldn't vote.
Right. They couldn't vote.
And I never thought to be an office owner and you couldn't vote.
Right.
That was not fair.
Yeah, I have half a dozen managing brokers in this office that can't vote because they became member brokers after the fact that we stopped giving out shares.
Right, right.
So we'll kind of have like the House and the Senate, but in general, all the votes are equal. We'll have a majority of the constituents and a majority of the shareholders during board meetings for things to move forward and pass.
Well, and I think one question that I had, and you answered it, is that a constituent who now is a voting member can also be on the board of can be on the board of directors and can eventually be on the executive committee, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Within
24.
Yeah, we would have within 2 years we could have a constituent broker associate or a constituent company owner be the president of Metro Brokers.
Right, right.
Yeah,
and that's just like, when you look at other realtor organizations, like your local associations, your national, they do not have to be, owners of an office, and of course there aren't shareholders, but they were able, I'd say most of the leadership are not office owners. They're just what we would call associates.
Broker associates, yeah, right.
So now I think that to me is huge.
Yeah, we do have some constraints. You have to serve so much time. You have to be a Metro broker for so long. You just can't come in, vote, and take over, right? And is that the same on these association groups?
Right. Yeah. You have to been a member for a number, a while. Be a realtor for a while. So no, I think what you've done is perfect. I would recommend that everyone votes for that.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Steve did a great job. It's taken us really like 5 months to really noodle on, and probably like 10 renditions of this, because we could have done a nonprofit. association, they do have such an LLC, an association LLC, that could have been nonprofit. But to go nonprofit and to go with the LLC, the association LLC would have been at a minimum 20 by the time we accounted in accounting. We would have been at $30,000 just to change that stuff, which not worth it.
Well, and I think one thing that I appreciate that you all have done as the board of directors is that I feel like you've been very transparent. You're getting the word out early, which I think is very important for our members to be able to understand. So we're educating them, I guess is a good word. And then, anyone can come and get the financials. And I liked what you said, Mark, about the 4 buckets.
Yes.
That you've got the marketing bucket, the admin bucket.
Building.
Personnel.
That's.
So there's 4 buckets.
That's it.
And so that's how you work around that. So I think it makes sense.
Yeah. Every time we have any expense, those expenses are going to be assigned to one of those categories. And maybe we can just go over that. That's one of the other things that the board can vote in, that we will be voting in, is cost constraints, not based on a percentage of gross, but actual dollar figures along with a small inflationary factor. So in other words, admin costs are X amount of dollars, period. Personnel costs are set at a dollar amount, period. And the building costs or leasehold costs or whatever you want to call that, the real estate piece, is also a set monetary number.
And you've been able to, over the last few years, it has not deviated that much.
Not much.
So you know what those costs are.
Yeah, they're pretty predictable. We've had some HOA costs with the building, but the big variable has been personnel.
Right.
So that's really the elephant in the room, and we've alleviated that elephant, and maybe we can touch base on that. Right now, yes, we have 1 full-time employee, Perry Smith at Metro Brokers. We have adjudicated enough money that we can pay somebody like her and another person, if need be, to assist her, like a part-time person, which is in our plans, is to hire. Right now, we've got her dissecting all the different job descriptions that are at Metro Brokers. She's doing them all, but she's putting them in different areas, so that in the future we might have 2 or 3 employees that are more part-time based, that specialize in each little area.
Right. Well, and I think we're very fortunate to have Ike.
Yeah.
Because, he is a person that is so available to all of our members to help them in any way that he can. And that is such a benefit. And I kind of feel he's like a driving force of the marketing to guide Metro Brokers and to help our brand.
Yeah, he absolutely is. I know you said some people might have some concerns that we don't have an executive director, or we don't have a CEO or a CMO or some. And the bottom line is, what we do best, and that's all we're doing now. We're not in education. We're not in software. We're not in anything other than brand and marketing, right? And we don't need someone sitting in the ivory tower telling other people what to do and then paying them to tell other people what to do. We just hire somebody like an Ike. In fact, all of our vendors that we have that basically work in the marketing, they're all month-to-month contracts. Okay, they're all performance based on literally month-to-month performance. If we don't like them, if something's not going right, if we've got feedback from our members, it either gets fixed or they'll go away.
Right.
See, people don't get when you hire a CEO for $150,000 a year on a 3 or 4 year contract, that's $400,000 or $500,000. That if that person's terminated, all the lawyers want that case.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
they all want that case.
You have to. Well, and I think that we've gotten lean and mean. And
Absolutely.
And absolutely have basically got the focus on marketing and branding.
Yes.
And the fact that we're independent contractors, Mark. I think with what is going on in with legislation about looking at the difference between an independent contractor and an employee. We're the only deal in town. So, and I hope our members understand that we are independent contractors. So there's not going to be very hard to prove that.
Right.
If someone comes in and wants to do some investigating, which has happened in some of the larger franchises.
Yeah, so just to our members, rest assured, we're doing quite fine without any type of CEO, any type of executive director. In a roundabout way, we have a CMO, Chief Marketing Officer Vendor Association is what we have. Mm-hmm. They're all paid without having to pay payroll taxes and those things. They're all truly independent people, and it's the best thing for the Metro Brokers membership dollar is to buy our marketing that way. Mm-hmm. So let's just go down. We talked a little bit about the spending costs, the bucket costs. Right now, the way the bylaws are going to read is, we have set money costs on our hard costs, and anything and above, we're shooting towards. Right now, I think we're at like 62% of our money being spent on marketing. And at a minimum, we're working towards 75%. Our goal will be 75%. That's what we're working towards. Okay. When we break membership levels up higher again, we could have circumstances where we have almost 80 or 90% of all the money spent on marketing. Right. So some of the other things, office. What does an office look like? Of course, with the COVID event and stuff, a lot of commercial space, a lot of people that maybe realize offices could look different. Just for the history of everyone out there, when you open up an office years ago, you had to have 6 independent companies, 6 independent shareholders for anyone to open up a Metro Broker office. Right. I think maybe 8 years ago, can't remember the year, we changed that you could have 1 shareholder with 5 associates, so 6 people to open an office. And now we're just saying, look, as long as you're not in the same contiguous parking lot to any existing office, if you're one person, you want to open a 1-person office, that's going to come down to a vote to the shareholders right now. Right. So that's one of the issues. The constituent membership, associate membership voting has to be approved by the shareholders, and the size of an office has to be approved by the shareholders. Right. So what are your thoughts on that?
No, I think that it's a good thing because times have changed. With the internet and everything electronic now, things are not like they were several years ago. So the internet has changed the whole thing of competitiveness, I think. Mm-hmm. So if you're concerned about competitive with an office across the parking lot or whatever, you're in competition no matter what. Yeah. So to me, I think, it gives an opportunity for like a small team.
Exactly.
To open up an office and be associated with Metro Brokers. If we want to grow the brand and grow, I think we have to meet the times.
Everyone out there, we don't mean offices working out of someone's garage or basement or their study. We have very defined settings or right. regulations for what's considered a professional office. Right.
And I think that's very important for us to keep that, because the last thing we want is our Metro Brokers to get the reputation that, they can work off of the hood of their car, they can work, in their basement. No, they have to have a professional setting where someone can come into the office. They have a phone that's going to be answered in a professional way, mm-hmm. and the clients can come to meet them, but not their home.
Correct. Yep. So those are kind of the big, I think the big changes that are, and they are big, but there are probably things that maybe had we had some of these a few years back, maybe we'd be in a different situation right now. We've always thought we were a not-for-profit marketing cooperative. That's kind of what we all thought we were. Like, we give money and we go out and buy marketing. Mm-hmm. Well, now that's prevalent more than it ever has been. It really is almost like a bucket where everyone puts their money in it, right? And we decide, should we get someone to pick up the bucket, and should we pay someone to put the bucket in the bank? And after it's in the bank, who do we pay to spend the money? It's that simple. This is like a really simple thing.
Well, I think, the old adage that we had independent brokers working together
Right.
is still what it is. It's independent brokers working together, and we have together we have this marketing group that are marketing opportunity. I think that it allows the marketing. We pay our money and they market for us.
Yeah, so, I mean, we'll wrap this up. I think, it's kind of funny, 40 some years ago when all this started, I think the basic first office, they were paying like $5 a month, I believe, buying newspaper advertising. They were mostly commercial brokers. People forget that. Metro Brokers was predominantly commercial brokers that broke away from the bigger crews back then. They didn't even want residential brokers. And it grew from there. This organic thing that's still very organic has been run by our broker members for good or for bad for 44 years. Anything else you want to talk about then, Kay?
I don't think so, Mark. I think this has been very, it was very good for me to delve into this. And because I'd heard about it, I've been watching the Tuesday Tidbits. And I do appreciate that. I think, and all of our members need to open that up and listen and read, because there are, good tidbits in there.
Absolutely.
But I'm glad that I had the opportunity to kind of go over, understand, and I think all of our members need to take the time to just get educated and understand what our board of directors has done to make this a better place for all of us.
Oh, great. Well, thank you very much, Kay.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Well, thanks everyone for joining us here at Tuesday Tidbit Talks. And Kay's absolutely right. We don't ask that much of our membership. Just looking at a newsletter that comes every Tuesday, seeing where we're spending our money, what we regularly show the TV stations that the ads are on. We show where the billboards are. We've got this video information like this. We've got things coming up like, our annual meeting, some of the education we still do. I think it's the least we could ask is just pay attention to the newsletter. We do have a 50 to 60% open rate, but I don't know. We can't prove on the 60%, do they read it? So anyway, take a read. That's why we started doing some videos, and we'll see everyone next Tuesday. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark.
Yep.